recorded.
Okay, you can. Perfect.
Okay, should I say got it?
All right. So welcome everyone to Bring Out the Authentic You. With us tonight, you have myself, Tamar B, and Betty Banks, and we will be your speakers for tonight, talking about colors and its impact and how to help, how to use colors to bring out the authentic version of yourself and to make the biggest impact in the world. So I am the co-founder and vice president of Tailor-Made by Pauline. I work with my mom to sew custom clothes, dresses, blouses, everything, you name it, for women and girls. And with me, I have Betty Banks.
Yes, hello. Hi. Yes, my name is Betty Banks, and I'm here with Tamara Brown, and I'm here to share my story and also to tell you how colors have also impacted my life. Well, do I go on?
That's fine. And we'll hear all about Betty's story and how the great impact colors has had on her life in the middle of our presentation. And we'll begin. So this is just like a 101, right? Colors 101, a brief history lesson of colors then and now, and the symbolism of colors. And then we'll go into an activity talking about how colors make you feel. Betty will come on our virtual stage to share her story and the impact of colors. And then we'll do a nice little discussion where we give you a scenario and you get to think about what colors you would wear to a certain event. And then of course, we'll end with a Q&A and a feedback form because we'd love to hear how you thought this session impacted you. Okay, so to begin, we wanted to just do a fun fact to begin, right? Did you know that the 75th global, what's going on? I'm tongue twisted. Golden Globe Awards in 2018, that Black was strategically worn by female actors to support the Time's Up movement. And this was a movement in response to the Harvey Weinstein case about sexual misconduct and gender inequality that's very pervasive in Hollywood right now. And so Black was worn strategically at that time. Okay. So color is a visual language. I don't think we consider that enough, and how we take part in the shaping of that visual language. Throughout history, we see that color has long been used to signify social and political status. An example of this is in ancient Greece. So the deities were depicted often in paintings with a golden halo and locks. And this was associated with the sun gods that sparked a movement in which people dyed their hair yellow as a way to feel closer to the celestial beings. A second example of color's influence on politics is during the Byzantine era, where royal families would dress themselves in purple robes, which were highly expensive at the time, right? So that color purple, getting that fabric was highly expensive to produce, but it was a way for them to show their societal standing, that they were of wealth and means. And then in the Middle Ages, we saw that red was thought to be symbolic of the blood of Christ and was worn by kings to pronounce their majestic power and to declare their divine right or God-given right to rule. So we see all of these strategic ways that in the past, leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, how they used colors to say something without saying it, right? Whether that they were devout Christians, whether that they were rich, right? The color that they wore told us a lot about who they are and what they believe. Also, color can also affect the way that we convey our mood and our perspective without ever saying a word. So an example of this, and before I tell you what research has shown this color to represent, I'm curious to hear from the audience, what comes to mind when you see this color? So feel free to type it in the chat or to share out loud.
Okay. Hi, this is Betty Banks. May I speak?
Yes.
Uh, okay, so when I see this color red, red evokes this can it makes you feel joyful. Red could also be a sign for danger, like when you see a stop sign, or maybe like the X for do not enter. And also red, as I was saying before, the red affects the amygdala of the brain, which is the sign for fight or flight as well. But that's
Thanks,
what
Betty.
mhm, red evokes. Red evokes.
And and besides making me extremely hungry right now for raspberries, you're absolutely right, right? So red is considered to evoke warmth, a sense of warmth, a sense of power, passion, and action. And we've noticed, all of us, that red is a popular choice for designs and marketing materials for businesses. And the reason for that, and you could probably guess this intuitively without reading any of the research on it, is that it's attention grabbing, right? So it raises the blood pressure and makes people hungry, right? So that is why we see brands like KFC, a lot of the food brands actually choose red as their primary marketing color. And here are some women in red. And I'm curious to know, do you think that these women evoke a sense of passion and power are they in their power suits, in their red power suits? Do we feel that way?
Well, yes, I do. I love the suit there to your left there. A woman in a blazer, strong, powerful, um, authoritative. So it speaks to you without even speaking, so to speak. Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that's what Aquafina wanted to portray when she was, when the stylist put her in that suit, in that power suit. Okay, so what about this color here? What comes to mind when you see this color?
What would you say, green? It's better speaking again. You, uh, green evokes warmth. Green evokes like a sea breeze. When I see green, I feel safe. That's basically what green evokes as well. Feeling safe. Green is very futile, and green is also denotes healthy as well. Like when they have the green tea, or like some granules of ginger, so to speak.
Awesome. You are right on point, Betty. This sight of green is thought to evoke, or research has shown, should evoke the feeling of healing, tranquility, environmental, and fresh, all of those things you named. And companies such as Starbucks, you mentioned the tea, right? So companies like Starbucks know that. And so they choose green to represent their brand because they want to convey that sense of vitality and renewal. And green is also adopted by brands that are concerned with well-being, as you mentioned, right? So the green tea, most folks who are
Yes.
health conscious are drinking green tea, and also wanting to be environmentally friendly. So
Yes.
those two brands, if you care about those two things, you may choose green as your primary color. And these ladies, long-standing actresses in the business, and it's no coincidence that they have chosen green as their red carpet outfit, right? Because they're older in the business. I mean, we're not saying like older in age, but they're older in the industry. They've been in it for a long time. And so wearing green, they look fresh, they look young, right? So this is a perfect example of how green can do that for you.
Yes.
Okay,
And there's that strong blazer. Okay,
that strong
and
blazer.
did oh yes, strong blazer. Okay, now did you know that in the past 10 years, green neckerchiefs have become the color of the abortion rights movement in Argentina?
A little fun fact. Who would have
Yes,
thought, right?
fun fact. Who thought?
Yeah. Okay. And
We
so I
send that
have
to Texas.
send it to Texas. Oh yeah, they should see this. Yes. They are putting folks in jail for wanting to get abortion. So we should send this slide to Texas. All right. And I'm so excited now to introduce Betty to the stage. As Betty mentioned earlier, she will share, as someone who identifies as a woman in the disability community, oftentimes we neglect to include folks with disabilities in the conversation when we're talking about fashion, when we're talking about the world of fashion, right? We often leave those voices out. And so I think it's important that we hear from Betty tonight, not only how colors has impacted her life, but just her life, right? Her story.
Yeah.
And so I'm so honored to bring Betty to our virtual stage, and Betty's going to share with us about her journey. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. October 13th, 1968. My life had changed for the better or for the worse. I'll let you be the judge. Okay, what happened? I was a pedestrian in the street and I was hit by a car. And what happened? I landed in a coma and I was in a comatose state for like 6 months. And fast forward after, I awakened in after the coma, and I was in the comatose state. So when I did awaken, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. When I awakened, I had lost all 5 senses. So there was plenty of relearning skills. There was lots of rehabbing and relearning and redoing everything. Fast forward, after that, basically, I noticed how like I just looked at the world different. Everything was sort of like heightened, like a heightened sense, a heightened awareness of a lot of things. And basically, I noticed that I've had this love for things that was shiny or things that generated movement, colors, even sparkly, so to speak. So that's when I've developed my sense of color. Where my brother always played with marbles in the house, and there they were, and I was gravitated towards that. So that opened up a whole something very simple, but it opened up a whole new world for me. So colors evoked so many things, my concentration, my thinking, all of those things, along with color. Same.
Awesome, Betty. And I'm curious to know, what specific colors did you gravitate to and why?
Okay, basically, I have gravitated towards the color red. I love strong reds. Um, reds, reds do a lot for me. Red helps me with my concentration. Red helps me with thinking. Red, okay, and red just red has done a whole lot. I love red. Like when I go for shopping, so to speak. Um, I noticed that I use a lot of I gravitate towards a lot of reds. You know, strong blazers, so to speak. Lots of things in red.
I love it. And you use the word strong, right?
Yes.
As someone, oftentimes when we think about folks with disabilities, we don't associate them with being strong. We maybe say they're powerless or in need of assistance. And I know that for you and for your mom, you becoming an independent young lady who could do for herself, who could fit in with the other kids, I know that that was very much a goal for both of you, to be independent and not to have to depend on anyone, despite all that you went through and your recovery. So how did colors allow you to gain that strength and that power in spite of all of those, the obstacles you faced?